So what we're going to be doing is reading the sutta along with Dhammavudho's commentary on the sutta. So in 4 different places, and I'll invite our readers to participate in that. And so first, if you want to just in your mind, let's just take a moment to pay homage to the Buddha. Just feel this in your mind. Homage to the Dhamma, this teaching, and homage to the Sangha. And one of the things that I wanted to explain here from Bhikkhu Bodhi, in the back of the Samyutta Nikaya, his comments on this sutta is this, that this sutta is a statement of both congratulations and enticement. For just as a king who has won a battle rewards and honors his victorious warriors in order to inspire the other soldiers to become heroes, so the Blessed One extols and praises the Arahants in order to inspire the others to attain the fruit of Arahantship. So this is a very important sutta. As they all are, all the suttas turn out to be very deep. All right, so this is the 7 cases. And I'll begin with reading and then invite the other readers. So accomplished in the Dhamma Vinaya, skilled in the 7 points. The Dhamma Vinaya is the Buddha's Dhamma and the monastic discipline. And he did say that after he was gone, that this is what he is leaving for us, the Dhamma Vinaya. And if you're reading the 5 Illusionists, you can see Dhammavudho's comments on this. At Savatthi, the Buddha said, a monk who is skilled in 7 points, monks who is an investigator of the 3 ways, he is called accomplished in this Dhamma Vinaya, one who has reached mastership, a superman. And how monks is a monk skilled in the 7 points? Here in monks, a monk fully knows body, the arising of body, the ceasing of body, and the way going to the ceasing of the body. He fully knows the satisfaction that is in the body, the misery or the danger that is in the body, the escape from the body. He fully knows feeling in like manner, and perception and volition. He fully knows consciousness. He fully knows the arising of consciousness, the ceasing of consciousness, and the way going thereto. He fully knows the satisfaction that is in consciousness, the misery or the danger that is in consciousness, and the escape from consciousness. And what monks is body? It is the 4 great elements and that materiality which is derived from the 4 great elements. That, monks, is called body. From the arising of nutriment comes the arising of body. From the ceasing of nutriment comes the ceasing of body. And the way going to the ceasing of body is this noble 8-fold path, namely right view, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration or collectedness. That ease, that pleasure which arises because of body, that is the satisfaction or gratification that is in the body. Insofar as body is impermanent, fraught with suffering and unstable, such is the danger that is in the body. The restraint of desire and lust, that putting away or abandoning of desire and lust that are in the body, such is the escape from the body. Whatsoever recluses or Brahmins, monks, by thus fully understanding body, its arising, its ceasing, and the way going to its ceasing, by thus fully understanding the gratification, the danger, and the way of escape from the body, are practicing for weariness, also disenchantment, for dispassion, for the ceasing of the body. They are practicing well. They that are practicing well are firmly grounded in this Dhamma Vinaya. Moreover, monks, whatsoever recluses or Brahmins, by thus truly understanding body, its arising, its ceasing, and the way going to its ceasing, by thus fully understanding the satisfaction, gratification, the danger and misery, and the escape from body, they, through weariness or disenchantment of the body, dispassion, the ceasing of the body, are liberated without grasping. They are truly liberated. For them it may be said, there is no more whirling around or whirling round. So a great little description of samsara, whirling around, wandering in samsara. So now in this lighter green here, so Dawn volunteered to be the first reader, and this is a little bit of a longer section, but he really kind of expounds this section a little bit more if you are available to read, Dawn, and I'll
Yep.
for you. Great, thank you.
Excuse me.
Dawn.
Here the Buddha said, one is called accomplished in the Dhamma Vinaya if one is skilled in the 7 points and an investigator of the 3 ways. Skilled in the 7 points means he fully knows the 5 aggregates, their arising, their ceasing, the way of their ceasing, the satisfaction, the misery therein, and the escape therefrom. To these 7 points, starting first with the body. Body. We're all very attached to our body, and letting go of this body is an advanced stage of the spiritual journey. The body. It is composed of the 4 great elements, and we need to understand them first in order to understand the body. The 4 great elements are earth, water, fire, and wind. They refer not to the actual elements themselves, but to their characteristics. The earth element refers to the characteristic of hardness, e.g., when I touch this metal, it is hard, so to me, it is earth element. Water element refers to the quality of cohesion, as water tends to cohere or come together. For example, it is because we have water in our body that we have a certain shape. Suppose you were to dehydrate yourself. Take away all the water in your body. What happens is you cannot have this form. It will collapse. So water refers to the element of cohesion. Fire refers to the element of heat, i.e. hotness, coldness, a lack of fire element. For example, digestion and metabolism. Wind element refers to motion or movement. Because of the wind element in our body, there is a movement inside our body. The food we take moves through our body. Wind passes through our body, sometimes out of our mouth as we pour out through the bowels and out through the lower body. Arising. From arising of nutriment, the body arises. Ceasing. With the ceasing of nutriment, the body ceases. Body wastes away when there is no nutriment, and after a certain number of days, the body will die. Way to its ceasing. The way to the permanent ceasing of the body is the Aryan Noble Eightfold Path, the path that leads to the end of suffering. Satisfaction. The pleasure that arises from sensual contact gives rise to the satisfaction with the body. Misery, danger. But insofar as body is impermanent, unstable, fraught with suffering, and that is the misery in the body. So we can get a certain satisfaction, a certain pleasure with the body, but because the body is unstable by nature, it can become sick or grow old. Then you get misery from the body. Escape. In order not to suffer, we must put away desire and lust for the body. As long as we have desire and lust for the body, we will continue to have one body after another. When we have body and mind, when we have a body and mind, then we have to suffer for it. When we understand this, we put away our. These 7 points is important, as it helps us in our practice. Firmly grounded in the Dhammavudho. Finally, for the enlightened ones, there will be no more whirling around samsara.
Thank you, Don.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's keep going. And what, monks, is feeling? These 6 seats of feeling, namely, feeling that is born of contact with the eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind, this, monks, is called feeling. From the arising of contact comes the arising of feeling. From the ceasing of contact is the ceasing of feeling. And the way going to the ceasing of feeling is this Noble Eightfold Path, namely right view, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. That ease, that pleasure which arises because of feeling, that is the satisfaction that is in feeling. Insofar as feeling is impermanent, fraught with suffering and unstable, this is the misery that is in feeling. That restraint of desire and lust, that putting away or abandoning of desire and lust, which are in feeling, that is the escape from feeling. Now whatsoever recluses or Brahmins, monks, by thus fully understanding feeling, its arising, its ceasing, and the way going thereto, by thus fully understanding the satisfaction, the misery that is in feeling, and the way of escape from feeling, are practicing for weariness, disenchantment, for dispassion, for the ceasing of feeling. They are practicing well. They that are practicing well are firmly grounded in this Dhamma Vinaya. Moreover, monks, whatsoever recluses or Brahmins, by fully understanding these things, are truly liberated. For them it may be said, there is no more the whirling round. So, Harshini, if you want to read his comments on feeling here. This
Sure.
little green paragraph. Thank
Sure.
you.
Feeling is one of those things which drive us around. We know the whole economy of a country is based on getting good feeling. If you can create something that can give people a good feeling, then you can sell the product. Example, CDs and DVDs. If you can create a good show that people enjoy, then people are willing to pay for it. Similarly, you can only sell your music if people like the sounds you produce. This applies to all things in life, like good perfume and delicious food. All these have to do with good feeling. This is what makes insight into feelings so important, because they are what drive living beings around, leading us to attachments and defilements.
Thank you, Harshini.
Sure.
Yeah, there's sutta that talks about the world being dragged around by the mind, and that's what this makes me think of, being dragged around by feeling. But when we start to let go, like we are in our practice, no longer being pulled around by this. Okay, now this is a long sutta, so I want to keep going here. Now, in this little section on perception, just notice that he doesn't go into all the detail. Keeps it very short. Perception being conjoined with feeling. And what, monks, is perception? These 6 seats of perceiving, the perception of sight, of sound, of smell, of taste, tangibles, and thoughts. That, monks, is called perception. And for those who fully understand it, there is no more whirling round. And what, monks, is volition? These 6 seeds of volition. The volition with respects to sights, sounds, smells, tastes, tangibles, and thoughts. This, monks, is called volition. From the arising of contact comes the arising of volition. From the ceasing of contact comes the ceasing of volition. And the way leading to the ceasing of volition is the Noble Eightfold Path. That ease, that pleasure which arises because of volition, that is the satisfaction in volition. Insofar as volition is impermanent, fraught with suffering and unstable, such is the misery of volition. That restraint of desire and lust that are in volition, that putting away of desire and lust that are in volition, that is the escape from volition. Whatsoever recluses or Brahmins, monks, who fully understands these things, as before, for them it may be said, there is no more the whirling round. Right, and let's go on to consciousness. Actually, let me make a little comment here. This sutta, I went ahead and read the expanded version of the sutta that goes into also perception. And so what the sutta is saying, and some of you may have noticed if you read this ahead of time, is that it's showing that it is saying that the condition for feeling, for perception, and volition are all contact. And at least for me, I knew from the study of the suttas and studying with Bhante that feeling and perception arise, and I've been watching this and seeing this when contact happens, but the sutta made me go, interesting, okay, volition arising here also. We don't typically think of that. And so an example I wanted to share, and this is something that David had explained to me many years ago, and that is, he was talking about when we have a contact, it sort of like explodes into being, it's like a bomb that drops. And we can look at an example. Let's say a person that you like walks into the room. First, you have eye contact with this person, maybe ear contact, you know them. And the feeling that arises is a pleasant feeling. The perception that arises is, oh, this is a person who is very wise. They're very kind. And then the volition might be something like that inclination, oh, I'd like to be their friend. And all that just kind of happens in just a moment. We don't have time to think about it. It's just boom, there. And the same with, we look at the other example, someone walks into a room that maybe you don't like. And so there's contact. You see the person with the eyes. Maybe you hear them. Maybe a memory arises in the mind. So you have all these contacts happening. Contact, the feeling that arises, unpleasant. The perception might be, just for example, this is a very angry person. This is a very loud person. The volition is, oh, I think I'm going to avoid this person. So just another way of looking at things here. So let's look at consciousness. And what, monks, is consciousness? These 6 classes of consciousness. I'm going to read it the way we're used to reading it. Eye consciousness, ear consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, body consciousness, and mind consciousness. This, monks, is called consciousness. From the arising of mentality and materiality, namarupa, comes the arising of consciousness. From their ceasing, its ceasing. The way leading to its ceasing is just that Noble Eightfold Path. In this way, monks, a monk is skilled in the 7 points. So Laura, if you want to read this section here.
Reduce worldly contacts. The above is self-explanatory. One thing to note is because of contact you have feeling, followed by perception, followed by volition. From this we can see that the more contact there is, the more active is the mind, and thus the more opportunity for mental suffering to arise. Therefore, the spiritual aspirant reduces contact with the world as the first step in his or her quest to end suffering.
You. Yeah, and I would think of this as every time you meditate, you're reducing contact with the world, or every time you go on retreat, or every time you go into practicing in some ways, we're cutting off so many openings to the sense door and the mind door. Okay, and the final section here. Accomplished in the Dhammavudho, investigator of the three ways. And how, monks, is a monk an investigator of the three ways? As to that, monks, a monk investigate things by way of the elements, dhatus, by way of the sense spheres, the ayatanas, by way of causal happenings, paticca samuppada, or dependent origination. That is how he is an investigator of the three ways. A monk who is skilled in the 7 points, monks who is an investigator of the three ways, is called accomplished in this Dhammavudho, one who has reached mastership, Superman. And in Bhikkhu Bodhi's translation, it says that this is the highest kind of person. So this is an arahant who understands by all these ways. So, Laura, would you like to read one more?
Sure.
Okay.
Firstly, a monk can investigate things by way of the elements. The elements can mean the 4 great elements, namely earth, water, fire, and wind, or alternatively, it can also mean the 6 elements, i.e. earth, water, fire, wind, space, and consciousness. The second way of investigation is by way of the sense spheres, ayatana. This involves the 6 sense doors, the 6 sense objects, and the 6 sense consciousnesses. Thirdly, there is investigation by way of dependent origination, paticca samuppada, of suffering, through the 12 lengths, how they arise and how they cease. If a monk is skilled in the 7 points and investigates by these 3 ways, he becomes accomplished in the Dhammavudho.
Thank you so much, Laura. And thanks to everybody for reading here too. Okay. Oh, I see. Wait, I see Antra. Hi, Antra. Anyone else who's popped on here while we were gone, also hello to all of you. Okay, so now we're going to sit for 30 minutes. And I'm going to set a timer here. And my intention here is I'm thinking we'll start with loving kindness. And we're not going to do this entire sutta because I think in our contemplation, because it would take entirely too long. But I think we might have time to look at just a little bit of it. So let's just see what happens as we begin our meditation. So begin by settling in. And making your seat comfortable. If you need to move or adjust so that you can sit with ease, go ahead and do that. Just allow yourself to feel light. Take a deep breath in and let it out. Another deep breath in. And letting it out. Just become aware of your body sitting here. Just noticing a sense of stability and ease in the body. Relaxing tension from the body. You can imagine that a field of relaxation just sort of washes over you from the top of the head and then moving all the way down your shoulders, your arms, your legs. Just letting that dissipate. Any agitation or tension, just let it disappear into the earth. Just let the earth hold you. You don't have to do anything. You can let go of any extra tension that you're holding on to. And there's no hurries to try to figure things out or to get to the meditation. Just invite the meditation to come to you. Let it come to you. Go ahead and put just a little smile on your lips. Even just a slight upturning at the corners of the mouth can just bring a sense of lightness. Let's take a moment of bringing up some gratitude. Gratitude for this body, this vehicle. Could even have gratitude for this teaching, for the Buddha. We have so much access to reading and learning the suttas. See if you can bring some gratitude and warmth in your heart. Gratitude for any of these things. Feeling some gratitude to the Sangha, all the monastics who have preserved the teachings, who are practicing in the right way. Just feel into that. Smile into that feeling of gratitude. Bring up a sense of the feeling of loving kindness for yourself. You can use a phrase if you need to wish yourself well, or you can just see yourself happy and smiling, seeing yourself feeling happiness in a wholesome way. You can imagine this feeling in your heart, that warm, glowing feeling that wishes for you to be well and free of suffering. Total loving kindness for yourself and all the good things that you're trying to do, all the wholesome intentions that are in your heart. We use the 6 R's to let go of anything that's distracting, anything that throws up doubt. Just recognize, we release it without pushing it away, and relax and smile and come back to loving kindness. Just really sink into the feeling. Smile into the feeling. you need another phrase, you can use that. If you don't need phrases, just let them go and just be in the feeling. And let's share some loving kindness with all beings in front of us. Everyone you can see or you know are there in front of you. Let the feeling and the wish for them just flow without pushing it out. You're becoming that candle that just gently radiates and wishes all these beings happiness. And now let's surround ourselves and share loving kindness with all beings all around. Wishing all beings behind us to be safe, to be happy, to be free of suffering. You might feel it just as a vibration that moves out from you. You're like an emanation. That radiance of the glow from the candle. And if the effort is too tight, just kind of relax. Come back, smile, and let everything happen with ease, with lightness. Sometimes just smiling as we're radiating that feeling just brings that feeling up a little bit more. Smile can be kind of like a little dial. Now let's radiate to all living beings, to the right of us. And to the left of us. Just creating a world of loving kindness here. This body with all its sense contacts and this mind. This is the world. This is your world. You're just making it a kind and beautiful space. Let's radiate to all beings above us. To all beings below us. And we've created this sphere of loving kindness, a world or a room of loving kindness. And a room of collectedness, mindfulness. Just be in this big field of loving kindness for a few moments. Just letting go of too much effort. Just cultivated this space so you can let yourself be here now. Now, for the last few minutes, we can use this collectedness to drop into looking at this investigation, this way of looking at experience in 7 ways. And give a little guidance here. Start by just use the aggregate of feeling to explore. And notice you don't try too hard. Just drop into it. The first investigation is just to know what is feeling. Feeling is either pleasant or painful, or neither pleasant nor painful. And a few weeks ago, we learned that there's many feelings arising every moment. 100,000 times 1,000, I believe it was. So all these feelings are arising and passing away right now even. The next investigation is the arising of feeling. And contact is the condition for the arising of feeling. As you're sitting here, even though the eyes are closed, you might hear sounds. You can still perhaps see an image with your mind, thoughts. So with the arising of contact at one of the sense doors and the mind door, there is a feeling. When that contact goes away, when that ceases, then that feeling ceases. All these things are happening very, very quickly. The way leading to the ceasing of feeling is the Noble Eightfold Path. And you look at the last 3 parts of the Eightfold Path. We have right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. And when you practice right effort, that's the 6 R's. We're letting go. We're abandoning unwholesome states, bringing up wholesome states. Maintaining wholesome states. We sharpen our mindfulness so that we can see what's happening. And when we can really be mindful, we can prevent ourselves from getting involved. It's just a feeling. The next investigation is the gratification in feeling, seeing that. are pleasant sense contacts, pleasant mind contacts, pleasant taste, pleasant sound, pleasant touch. All these things are the gratification and feeling. Danger and feeling. The next investigation is it's impermanent and unstable. Can't make our experience be pleasant all the time, no matter how hard we might try. There's painful feelings and even pleasant feelings ultimately pass away. So even within that, that's also suffering. The escape of feeling is letting go of craving, letting go of wanting more sensual pleasures. All the things we might want more and more of. Seeing when craving is high in us, and using the 6 R's to let that go. And the escape is also seeing when aversion arises. Instead of letting ourselves get involved in aversion, not liking what we see or hear or feel, or even thoughts, we recognize, release, and relax. We also look at when we take things personally. Letting go of anything we see as me, mine, and myself. Or what we're taking personally. That's the escape. Seeing everything as an impersonal process. So we can drop the reflection and just come back to some peace and silence. It's beginning to become aware of coming back to this room by feeling what you can feel around you. Noticing sounds around you. sensations. We're back. Thank you all for meditating together. And I saw a question here about what are the 7 cases. So and so actually the 7 cases, it's actually taking the 5 aggregates and looking at 7 points for each of them. So the first one is actually knowing the aggregate, like knowing what it actually is, knowing its arising, knowing its ceasing, knowing the way to its ceasing, knowing the gratification, the danger, and the escape in regard to that aggregate. So yeah, it's very deep and very hard to understand. I get some of it, but yeah, I really had to think about this one myself on a few of the points because it said things a little bit different than how I'm used to, for instance, how I'm used to looking at dependent origination. But doing a little bit of research also, I found some suttas. The Buddha sometimes just used different ways of explaining things and different ways of looking at how one thing leads to another. And so I think ultimately we know the dependent origination model, but if we can also think about how actually, I remember Delson saying this, that, the dependent origination is loops within loops happening. So there's all these deep layers in here going on. So, okay. Other. Okay, great. I was looking at the conversation here. So, anybody want to share any insights that they had from reading this? Would love to hear anything at all, or even from your meditation or your practice with the aggregates, even if it's something different you're doing, if you're working with permanence or whatever. And Odysseus.
Hi. First of all, thanks for having this session. This is great. What I wanted to say is that what I take out of all this is that the challenge here is to try to find a balance between living in this world, in our everyday lives, while at the same time trying to detach from the 5 aggregates. So that's very challenging. At times it's more challenging than at other times. So that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, I love that. There's one word I didn't hear though that you said something. Can you repeat the
So what I was saying is that the challenge for me, at least, is trying to find the balance between living our daily lives with all the good and the bad. We can't just eliminate ourselves from our daily lives just so that we can detach from the 5 aggregates, but at the same time, suffering arises because you attach to the 5 aggregates. You crave and cling to the 5 aggregates. So finding that right balance, it seems like quite a challenge.
Okay, great. Yes. Perfect. Thank you so much. That's a very, very deep insight. Yeah, I love hearing that because we can't just leave the world. Even, I think sometimes people would rather just, oh, could I just go and live away from everything somewhere? But that's too much aversion. The challenge is really finding the balance with it. We want to have this equanimity and clear seeing, and even use our contact with the world as our practice. Hey, Thomas.
Yes.
So,
Hello. Hi. I'm trying. There I am. I was just thinking with regard to remaining in the world, the way that the Sangha was set up, the monks and the lay people were dependent on each other. So even the monks, except for like 2 weeks a year or 3 months a year, they must, they have to be with people, they have to interact with people, or they don't get fed. So we're all in the world, I think, intentionally, for better
yeah.
or worse.
Yeah, I love that, Thomas. Yeah, that's absolutely right. They couldn't just run off and do their own thing. And you learn so much, I think, through sometimes when you go through really challenging periods, you can just, it might not be a lot of fun, but sometimes you can just learn a whole lot in that time. Like you just transform in great kind of leaps and bounds when you have a lot of suffering sometimes. A balance is nice though, for sure. Yeah, I love hearing these reflections. These are all thoughts that don't necessarily come to me, and so it's great to hear it. Yeah, Odysseus.
I don't want to exceed my quota here, but regarding what you just said, I think it was Bhante that had said at some point that there's going to come a point where you're going to look forward to the adversity and the difficulties in life. And I was thinking back then, there's no way in hell that I'm going to get to that point. But now I can start to see how when you go through difficult times in life, this is when you actually can learn so much about how this really works. I just wanted to share that.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you for that. He did say, welcome your hindrances in because they're here to teach you. They're your teachers. Ryan.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. What's been said there. I remember one of the biggest insights I had about how I'm creating all of my own suffering was right after a breakup when I was in possibly the greatest suffering of my life. And then that's when I'm like, oh my God, I'm just creating all this suffering for myself. But regarding a realization I had, it's really been something I've been realizing more and more is how a real obstacle to my mindfulness is almost like a stimulation. My mind is a bit of a stimulation junkie. I'm I'm constantly checking my phone. I check the news too often. So it's like below a certain level of stimulation, my mind looks for things. So when we're meditating, we're not getting much stimulation. So then my mind goes to try to, and this is my interpretation anyway, I could be wrong, but it's like, oh, let me think about work. That'll be more interesting than this. Let me think about this or that, or let me dwell on the sound I just heard. And I think a real opportunity for me to gain more mindfulness will be, okay, use my phone less, check the news less often, reduce the unnecessary stimulation in my life so that I can lower that threshold. But if you have thoughts on that, or maybe you think I'm interpreting it maybe incorrectly or something, please let me know.
Yeah, that's a great comment, Nat. 100%, Ryan, as you keep going, become more and more clear how much the mind grasps for contact.
Yeah, but especially you see this on retreats. And the wonderful thing is you can come out of that, when you shut the world away and you're a Dhamma on a retreat, and then when you leave, you have increased clarity, and going back to your day-to-day world, you can remember, oh yeah, I saw this mental proliferation and stuff going on. And living day to day is different than being on retreat, but that skill, you nailed it, Ryan. That skill grows and grows and grows as you keep at it. You get better and better and better. And then I think eventually you reach a point where you start to see this stuff way back before it even shows up. And then it's just observing and just this, you don't get so entangled in it. So that's a great insight, Ryan.
Yeah, maybe I could add something here. What you need to do is reverse how you're looking at things. What we always do, what humans do, is any contact that comes in, we want it. We want to look. We're not happy with where we are. And so we go out. If there's news, we got to read it. It might be stimulating, it might be exciting, it might be. So what happens is you start to realize that contact is suffering, and it's, opens to feeling and opens all the rest of it. What if we stayed in a place of no contact? And I'm not talking about death. I'm talking about actually nibbana. Nibbana is a place that is deathless, that is there is no contact, but there is peace. So we don't value the peace of mind that is sitting there when we're not thinking. Ryan, as you were saying, well, I start thinking about this and I go, yeah, I want to think about that. But you're not seeing it. It's good to, in your meditation, to say, hey, the silence, the quiet, that's peaceful, and to appreciate it and to change your view of how the world is, because basically the sutta is saying the world leads to suffering. And ultimately, what we want is no suffering. So ultimately, do we really want to read the news? No, not really. Just let go of the contact, let go of the desire to press the button and see how you feel. Because I think, as you all know, on a retreat, you feel pretty good. There is no news. There's no phones. There is peace, more peace of mind, but we don't appreciate it. So we have to try to think about, that's good, peace of mind. That's what we want. So that's all I got.
Thank you. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, and Ryan, I'll join you on a digital detox sometime. I think that's really a good thing.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we were going to, actually, okay. So I'm going to go ahead and put up the sharing of merits. But as we had mentioned, if anyone wants to stay after and you wanted to ask a question in a smaller group, this is something that we wanted to start offering just to see if it's something that would be useful to anyone. So you can let us know in the chat if that is something that you would like to do. And let's see here. And I'll just read one more comment from Tommy. I started looking forward to adversities mostly because there's so much to learn from them and have had insights because of this. Yes. Okay, great, Ryan. All right, so you're all welcome. And like I said, we want to keep doing this so that we're available for anybody who would like to chat. Okay, so let's share the merits. May suffering ones be suffering free, and the fear-struck fearless be. May the grieving shed all grief, and may all beings find relief. May all beings share this merit that we have thus acquired for the acquisition of all kinds of happiness. May beings inhabiting space and earth, devas and nagas of mighty power, share this merit of ours. May they long protect the Buddha's dispensation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.